Erik and Bjorn had sworn their brotherhood over Thor's sacred hammer, mingling their blood as they vowed that death alone could break their bond. But when Roman merchants offered Bjorn 30 chests of silver for betraying Erik's trade routes, greed proved stronger than sacred oaths. What Bjorn didn't realize was that the gods were watching, and they had very specific ideas about oath breakers. In the ancient traditions of the North, no bond was more sacred than that of sworn brotherhood. When two warriors chose to become blood brothers, they declared their willingness to die for each other, share wealth equally, and honor their bond above all earthly concerns. Erik the Stormwalker and Bjorn Silvertongue had performed this ritual on a winter night 15 years ago. Erik possessed incredible navigation skills, but lacked political connections. Bjorn had merchant cunning and linguistic gifts, but needed a partner who could safely navigate treacherous northern seas. In Thor's sacred grove, they cut their palms with the same blade, letting blood drip onto Thor's hammer while speaking words that bound warriors for generations. "Your enemies become my enemies," Erik swore. "Your gold becomes my gold," Bjorn responded. "Your death becomes my death," they spoke together. For 15 years, that oath had been the foundation of their success. Erik's supernatural weather reading kept their ships safe through deadly storms. Bjorn's negotiation skills and language mastery secured trading agreements that filled warehouses with exotic wealth. Together, they had built an empire stretching from Baltic amber shores to Constantinople's spice markets. Their friendship was legendary. Their success had earned respect throughout the northern world. But success attracts both opportunity and corruption. Marcus Aurelius Brutus, Roman trade coordinator for northern operations, had studied their partnership for years. These Vikings competed not through violence, but superior organization and relationships, taking market share Romans considered theirs. Brutus identified their motivations carefully. Erik was driven by adventure and mastering impossible sailing conditions, but Bjorn craved wealth, status, and political power that came from controlling valuable resources. During Hedebe's great trading fair, Brutus approached Bjorn with seemingly innocent conversation. "Your partnership is impressive, but do you ever feel it limits your potential? A man of your talents could accomplish even more with alternative arrangements." The corruption happened gradually. Brutus planted doubt, nurtured frustrations, convinced Bjorn he deserved more than half their partnership generated. "Consider the mathematics," Brutus would say during private meetings. "You handle complex negotiations, master multiple languages, maintain profit-generating relationships. Erik drives ships. Surely navigation isn't worth equal share of an empire built on your diplomatic abilities." More poisonously, Brutus shared false intelligence about Erik's private activities, unauthorized side deals, sharing trade secrets with competitors, planning eventual betrayal. "The tragedy is that Erik's betrayal is inevitable," Brutus observed. "The question isn't whether he'll betray you, but whether you'll be prepared." The final seduction came with concrete offers: 30 chests of Roman silver, plus exclusive trading rights to previously closed Roman territories. But Brutus framed it as necessity, not greed. "Roman intelligence discovered Erik plans to eliminate you and seize your entire operation," Brutus claimed. "Help us neutralize this threat, and you'll have resources that dwarf your current operation." The justification was seductive, preventing inevitable betrayal while gaining enormous wealth and political power. Standing before more gold than most men saw in lifetimes, Bjorn convinced himself he was making practical business decisions rather than betraying sacred bonds. The betrayal was planned with Roman efficiency. Bjorn would lure Erik to a remote island investigating trading opportunities, then signal concealed Roman ships. Erik would be captured alive, his navigation knowledge too valuable to waste. On the feast of Odin, Erik suspected nothing when approaching the designated beach. Why doubt his sworn brother's word about profitable opportunities? But Roman warships emerged from hidden coves like wolves surrounding prey. Erik realized immediately the careful timing, remote location, advanced planning could only come from intimate knowledge of his methods. As Roman soldiers surrounded his crew, Erik's eyes found Bjorn standing safely on the Roman command vessel, face composed but unable to hide burning guilt. "Brother," Erik called across water, "was 30 pieces of silver worth our oath?" The Romans underestimated Erik's knowledge of northern magic. As soldiers closed for capture, Erik drew his dagger not to fight but perform one final ritual, invoking justice that mortal law could never provide. "By Thor's hammer and Odin's wisdom," Erik cried, slashing his palm and spilling blood onto rocky shore. "I call upon gods who witnessed our sacred bond to judge the oathbreaker's crime." Erik's voice grew stronger as life ebbed, ancient words carrying power older than Rome. "Bjorn Silver Tongue, you have broken the most sacred oath known to gods and men. By greed, you chose Roman gold over Norse honor. By cowardice, you betrayed the brother who trusted you with life itself." The curse followed in the old tongue, words predating written language. "Let the gods witness your crime and judge your punishment. Let your gold turn to ash in your hands. Let your children pay the price of your betrayal. Let your name become warning to all who would break faith, and let you live long enough to understand some prices are too high for mortal wealth to pay." Erik died as he finished speaking, blood seeping into stone and soil, carrying his curse where old gods sleep and dream of justice. For 3 months, Bjorn's life exceeded wildest expectations. Roman gold made him immediately wealthy beyond previous dreams. Exclusive trading rights opened markets he'd never accessed. His reputation attracted new clients offering even greater profits. Most importantly, he was free from partnership constraints. No sharing decisions or profits, no worrying about another's opinions or moral qualms. But prosperity built on betrayal attracts unexpected consequences. During a celebration feast at his expanded hall, Bjorn raised his silver-inlaid horn to toast success. The polished metal reflected not his own face, but Erik's accusing eyes, staring back with infinite sadness and inexorable judgment. "Too much ale," Bjorn laughed nervously, though he'd barely tasted his drink. That night, Erik appeared in dreams. Nightmares began with familiar memories twisted into accusations. Dream Erik would appear as in life, speaking reasonably about business problems. "You were my brother," Dream Erik would say with infinite disappointment. "I trusted you with everything I valued. Was our bond truly worth so little?" Bjorn would try explaining, justifying with logic that convinced him to accept Roman gold. But Dream Erik never argued, never showed anger, just patient sadness of someone who expected better. "The gods are watching, Bjorn. They saw what you did. They remember every oath, every betrayal, every choice putting gold above honor. And they have very long memories. Dreams came nightly, growing more vivid, focused on consequences Bjorn's betrayal would bring everyone he cared about. Erik showed visions of his children facing disasters, his wife suffering incurable illnesses, wealth turning to dust and reputation crumbling. Supernatural justice began with Bjorn's eldest son, Olaf. Leading a hunting party, his experienced horse stumbled on safe ground, throwing him against rocks that broke his neck with surgical precision. Investigation found no explanation. Why had an experienced horse stumbled on terrain navigated safely dozens of times? Or why Olaf fell in the one fatal direction? "The gods will," the local seer pronounced. "Sometimes sins of the father demand payment from sons. Bjorn's second son died 3 weeks later, drowning in calm water while fishing from a childhood dock. Witnesses said Magnus simply slipped and fell, but his body showed no struggle signs. He'd sunk like stone, as if water itself claimed him. The third son succumbed to wasting sickness no healer could identify. Sigurd grew weaker daily despite healthy food and best medical attention Roman gold could purchase. He died whispering about dreams where a sad-eyed man explained some debts could only be paid through family blood. Bjorn's wife Astrid lasted longer, but suffered more. Madness claimed her mind gradually, occasional confusion progressing to complete inability to recognize her husband. In lucid moments, she stared at Bjorn with terror. "You brought this on us," she whispered during final coherent conversation. "I can see him standing behind you, the friend you betrayed. He's waiting for you to understand what you've lost." As family died around him, Bjorn discovered material success was built on cursed foundations. Roman trading contracts revealed hidden costs and impossible requirements. Shipments were delayed by weather targeting only his vessels. Warehouses burned under supernatural circumstances. The Roman silver became torment itself. Every coin left burning cold sensations, as if metal was freezing and scorching simultaneously. Decorative objects began changing when not directly observed, showing Erik's face reflections, bearing accusatory inscriptions, whispering voices speaking of judgment and reckoning. Most disturbing, silver multiplied on its own, appearing where never stored, bearing images depicting Erik's death and supernatural consequences. No matter how much he spent or destroyed, more appeared, surrounding him with constant crime reminders. Roman merchants distanced themselves from their former ally. Brutus refused messages and abandoned inconvenient agreements. "We deal with practical men," Brutus wrote finally, "not those who attract supernatural complications." On the 5th anniversary of Erik's death, Bjorn woke to find his hall filled with ghostly figures. Not just Erik, but everyone who died as consequence of the broken oath, his sons, wife, crew members, even Roman soldiers killed in retaliatory raids. They stood in silent judgment, eyes reflecting understanding that justice had been served according to laws older than human civilization. Erik stepped forward, appearance exactly as in life, but carrying transcendent authority. "You chose Roman gold over sacred brotherhood," Erik said clearly, despite otherworldly quality. "You broke an oath witnessed by gods and sealed with blood. You betrayed trust freely given and honored faithfully for 15 years. Bjorn tried to speak, explain, justify, beg forgiveness, but no words came. The magnitude of what he'd lost, not just through supernatural consequences, but through original choice to value silver over honor, left him speechless. "The curse is complete," Erik continued with finality rather than malice. "Your family paid the price of betrayal. Your wealth became torment. Your reputation lies in ruins. Now you understand what I knew as I died. Some bonds are worth more than all gold in Rome." As Erik spoke these final words, Bjorn felt something fundamental shift within his chest. Not physical pain, but complete cessation of whatever force had kept his heart beating despite supernatural weight of his crimes. He died, not from violence or illness, but from simple understanding that he had traded everything meaningful for silver that brought nothing but suffering. The hall was found empty the next morning, his body surrounded by silver coins turned to ash during the night. The scene became a shrine, warning against breaking sacred bonds, where young warriors would swear oaths more carefully after learning what happened to those who broke faith with brothers. Some debts echo through realms beyond mortal understanding, and the gods never forget the difference between gold and honor. If this tale of ultimate payback moved you, hit that like button and let us know in the comments which part shocked you the most. Subscribe to Time for Payback for more legendary stories where betrayal meets justice. And don't forget to ring that notification bell, because every betrayal has its reckoning, and every story holds the power to change everything. What revenge story should we tell next? Drop your suggestions below. Until next time, remember, karma never forgets.